a land where silence speaks louder than noise, where one wrong look can seal your fate, and where loyalty isn't earned, it's demanded at the cost of your soul. One of the most secretive and sinister dictatorships in modern history, North Korea under the leadership of Kim Jong-un hides layers of propaganda and military power. But who is really behind this myth? How does he control an entire country through intimidation? And is there a horrifying truth lurking beneath the surface of his rule? This video isn't just about showcasing his power, it will show the price of control, brutality, and total obedience. Are you ready to know the darkness hidden behind every smile on the faces of North Korean people? Since the death of his father, Kim Jong-il, in 2011, he has consolidated his grip on the country through a ruthless combination of propaganda, military might, and total control. He presents himself as a strong, cautious leader, but behind this mask is a regime based on fear, silence, and deadly consequences for the slightest opposition. While the world watches a mysterious dictator with nuclear ambitions, the people of North Korea live under constant surveillance, unable to question the man who rules their lives like a god. Kim Jong-un's regime is not just a government, it is a carefully engineered machine of fear, propaganda, and total control. Upon taking power in 2011, Kim established himself not only as the heir to his father's rule, but also as a more ruthless, calculating leader willing to do anything to maintain dominance. His regime doesn't just demand loyalty, it demands worship, silence, and blind obedience. North Korea under Kim Jong-un is the definition of a totalitarian state. Every aspect of life, from what people say to what they say, is controlled by the regime. There is no concept of freedom of speech, press, religion, or movement. Citizens are monitored at all times. Entire neighborhoods are monitored by local Inminban, means people's units, who report any suspicious behavior. Speaking even a single word of criticism about Kim or the government results in imprisonment, torture, or even death for not only the person, but his or her entire family. The most terrifying tool of Kim Jong-un's rule is the cult of personality surrounding him. From childhood, citizens are taught to worship Kim as a divine figure. His portrait hangs in every home, school, and workplace. Every speech must begin with praise for Kim and his ancestors. Any disrespect to his image, even accidentally, can be seen as treason. North Korean media is government-run and constantly boasts of Kim's intelligence, power, and care for the people. They fabricate stories of his greatness, such as learning to drive a car at the age of 3 or mastering advanced science and military tactics as a teenager. These myths are created to scare people and make them fear their leader. Given their fears, there is no political opposition to Kim in North Korea. All power is centralized with Kim as the supreme leader under the ruling Workers' Party of Korea. Elections take place, but there is only one name on the ballot. Voters are watched as they cast their vote, making it impossible for them to say no without risking their lives. Kim has fired dozens of top officials, including close advisors and even family members suspected of being dissidents. His uncle, Jong, once considered a powerful patriarch, Kim Jong-un was publicly executed for treason in 2013. His half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, was assassinated using a nerve agent at a Malaysian airport in 2017, a killing widely believed to have been ordered by Kim. North Korea is almost completely cut off from the outside world. The internet is blocked for ordinary citizens. Foreign films, music, and books are banned. Anyone caught watching South Korean dramas or listening to foreign music is punished by death or execution. The government wants to ensure that no outside influence can challenge the lies it feeds its people. Even travel between cities in the country is tightly controlled. Citizens need a government-issued permit to leave their hometowns. Foreign journalists are closely monitored, and tourism is strictly restricted. Kim Jong-un rules not by elevating his people, but by spreading fear among them. From the streets of Pyongyang to the rural provinces, people whisper in fear, not knowing who to trust. Families are being torn apart, dreams are silenced, and millions live in poverty, while one man and his elite live in unimaginable luxury. Moreover, fear is not just an emotion in North Korea, it is the policy of the government, a weapon and the basis on which the regime stands. In Kim Jong-un's North Korea, brutality is not an occasional tool, it is a systematic, deliberate weapon used to instill fear and eliminate even subliminal signs of rebellion. Disobedience, whether real or imagined, is met with swift and brutal punishment. The regime doesn't just silence opposition, it destroys lives in the most inhumane ways. The most shocking element of Kim's brutality is the public executions. These are not rare events hidden from the public eye. They are a display of terror. Children, workers, and families are often forced to watch as individuals are executed by firing squads or even anti-aircraft guns. This is not only to punish the accused, but also to remind them of what happens when loyalties waver. Then there is the infamous punishment of 3 generations rule. If a person commits a political crime, for example, expressing doubts about the leader, trying to flee, or listening to foreign media, his parents, children, and sometimes grandchildren are punished. Most are taken to horrific labor camps, where they are starved, tortured, and forced to work hard until they die. North Korea has an extensive system of political re-education camps, one of the most brutal and opaque in existence. It is estimated that North Korean authorities hold more than 100,000 prisoners in these camps. They are isolated from the rest of the world and kept in inhumane conditions. Prisoners are starved, forced to do backbreaking labor, and are often beaten or tortured. Women are raped or forced to have abortions, and newborn babies are sometimes killed. Anyone who tries to escape or disobey is either killed or made an example of offend by forced torture through severe methods such as starvation, being burned alive, or being torn to pieces by dogs, according to the criminal's command. Even blood relatives are not spared. Kim Jong-un's own uncle Jong Song-thaek was executed in 2013 on charges of corruption and dissent with an anti-aircraft gun. It was a chilling message to others in power. Even those closest to the throne are not safe. In 2017, his half-brother Kim Jong-nam was assassinated in broad daylight at a Malaysian airport with VX nerve agent, an illegal chemical weapon. The assassination was carried out in such a way that even the killers did not realize what they were doing. This sophisticated and public display of power shows the lengths to which Kim can go to eliminate threats, even those abroad. The cruelty is not just physical, it is deeply psychological. Citizens are taught from childhood to spy on neighbors, friends, even their parents. The children are brainwashed into believing that their loyalty should be only to Kim and that anyone who disrespects him deserves death. People live in a constant state of flood. Even a wrong word, facial expression during a speech, or not grieving enough during a national tragedy can be a crime. In 2011, after Kim Jong-il's death, people who were not crying sincerely were sent to labor camps. Fear in North Korea isn't just maintained through violence or prison camps. It's embedded in people's everyday lives through bizarre and extreme rules that defy logic. These rules go beyond the known bans on jeans or foreign hairstyles. They represent a deeper layer of psychological control, which blurs the line between reality and madness. One such practice is the enforced regulation of human emotions. National celebrations, parades, or even the public display of a photo of Kim Jong-un must require citizens to display accurate emotional reactions, such as smiling, clapping, cheering, or crying at the right times. Facial expressions are carefully monitored, and anyone who appears emotionally different from the crowd may be viewed as suspicious or even disorganized. People learn to fake emotions for survival, constantly displaying happiness or sadness for the benefit of the eyes. In schools and universities, students are sometimes asked to prove their loyalty by reporting any anti-governmental behavior, even imaginary, by their friends or family members. If a student refuses to accuse someone, it casts doubt on his ideological commitment. This cruel test tears families apart, turning children into tools of regime control, where the safest option is betrayal. Marriage and childbearing are also not entirely individual choices. In some rural areas, especially in politically loyal families, the regime is known to arrange marriage partners. There have also been cases of forced abortions on women returning to North Korea after visiting China, if the baby is suspected of being mixed. The rules consider such pregnancies impure, which threatens their ideas about ethnic and ideological purity. Civilians are also forced to march in huge parades, festivals, or military ceremonies. These activities require weeks of rigorous training, sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day. This is mandatory no matter your age or health. People have been known to faint or die during these grueling preparations, but absence is seen as rebellion. Participation is not about celebration, it's about submission. Moving freely within the city is highly restricted. A travel permit is required to visit relatives, go to another district, or change neighborhoods. Every week, citizens must attend sessions called self-criticism meetings. In these gatherings, everyone is expected to admit their personal mistakes and criticize others in their group, whether they are co-workers, classmates, or family members. These sessions tend to be emotionally dry and abusive. Even children are forced to participate, learning from an early age to question themselves and distrust everyone around them. It's a cruel way to make them submissive, guilty, and afraid of those who are different. Even names and language are strictly controlled. It is illegal to name a child Kim Jong-un, and anyone with that name is forced to change their name. Only state-approved words and phrases may be used in public speeches or the media. Jokes, metaphors, or any non-standard expressions are forbidden. By restricting people's vocabulary, the regime limits their thoughts, a subtle but powerful form of mind control. These rules may seem false, but for North Koreans, they are part of everyday life. Together, they create a web of silent terror, a place where your smile, your words, your family, or even your thoughts can lead to your downfall. In Kim Jong-un's North Korea, obedience is not enough. Total submission is the only option. After watching this entire video, you must have understood that Kim Jong-un does not rule North Korea. He owns his people's smiles, their silences, their dreams, and even their thoughts. Behind the parades and the propaganda is a machine of repression so extreme that even reality is pressed into service. The question is not how Kim Jong-un has this power, but how long the world will keep watching. If you find this shocking, disturbing, or eye-opening, share this story with your colleagues and loved ones, because awareness is the first step towards change. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to see more interesting videos. See you in the next video. Goodbye.